Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel where I talk about movies. And the month of July 2023, I am talking about Criterion releases exclusively. So I'm mixing in some classic films in the collection that I've never talked about before, and also some recent releases that I have picked up during the sale, which goes on to, I think, July 28th. And so today I'm talking about one of the recent releases from a few weeks ago, The Triangle of Sadness, and this is directed by Ruben Ostlund. And it was the winner of the 2022 Cannes Film Festival Palme D'Or, and Ostlund also won the Palme D'Or with his previous film, The Square, back in 2017. And I saw it in a movie theater, and I liked it a lot. I found it very funny. It's a film that you probably, the impact of the film is better seen with experience with an audience who are brave enough to laugh at this film, because you wonder, am I supposed to laugh? Am I not? But when I saw it in the theater, the picture quality was not very good. Now, one of the reasons why I rarely go to the movie theaters anymore, because I get so frustrated with the projection system, whether they're not replacing projection lamps. I have trouble 3 or 4 times within 3 months with the audio. And it just became too frustrating to go. But I'm glad I saw this one in the movie theater. And so this one did not look that great in the screen. I thought, boy, and especially if you go to Dolby theaters or IMAX, and things look so fantastic, and you go back and you watch a movie in the regular standard movie theater, they don't look that great. And I was curious to see what would it look like, what should it look like on a 4K? And it looked great. It was much brighter, much more clarity to it. I know AMC is coming out with, I think they're calling AMC Laser, and I'm hoping that's going to improve the quality of the experience. And if it comes, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to go back and go back to the AMC A list again. But this is, I think this movie is going to become one of my favorite films, because it's just so surprising. It's a story of surprises, and it's a mixed bag of different comic tones. Very much a dark comedy, a satire. It's definitely a skewering of the rich. There's no doubt of that. And and basically the way we live now, the way we've ordered society, it seems so weird. Why are human beings ordering their society in this way? Very much based on hierarchies. And it's a three-act movie. It's 3 distinct sections to this movie. And one of the sections that most people are going to remember is and I'm not giving anything away, because some of the poster art emphasizes it, the puking scene in this film, projectile vomiting, which normally I don't like, but I just found it hilarious in this film. And and it does remind you a little bit of Monty Python, a specific Monty Python movie. And if you've seen The Square, his other Palme d'Or winning film, you're probably going to remember the scene where a performance artist, acts like an ape, jumping from table to table in a very elaborate dining hall full of the obscenely rich, which I think is funny, and then they get discomforted by it. It is a brilliant scene, and I think Ostlund really takes this idea of this set piece that people are never going to forget, to the max here, and I think he does it very well. And I was also reminded a little bit of the surreal comedy of Louis Buñuel. There's a good bit of Admiral Crichton in this film. There's a little tip of the cap to The Shining. Some of the reviews I read mentioned Gilligan's Island. But it centers on 2 main characters. They're in all 3 sections, and they're very successful models, and when they're in a relationship, This is Harris Dickinson playing Carl. And if you look closely here, you'll see the triangle of sadness above his nose. And as he's at an audition, he's advised to not show us your triangle of sadness there. So he's Carl. And then we have Yaya. And Yaya is played by Charlie Dean. And they are just fantastic in this movie. And a little bit more about Charlie Dean at the end of this video. So they're both successful models, but she makes more, and the film emphasizes that female models make more than male models. So that, as far as their relationship goes, that causes problems. There's very much a dissection of the power dynamics of modern relationships, especially when the woman makes more than the man. So that's basically what happens in the first part of this film. And part of their relationship that's really interesting is the fact that not only they're models, they're internet influencers. And I don't know what an internet influencer is. I don't really want to know. I don't want to be influenced by an internet influencer. And as part of that, they get perks. So they in the second act, which is aboard a yacht, they're there because of the perks they get as internet influencers. But and the fact that they're together enhances their career, enhances their success and their influence on other people because they have the same career. And she wants to be in this relationship. She looks at it as that relationship sort of from that business angle, although she's very much fond of Carl, and maybe by the end of the film more than we realize, more than she realizes. But she tells Carl, my ambition is to be a trophy wife. I want to live in this kind of luxury that she's used to for her whole life. Whereas he's looking for love. You'll forget about that trophy wife. I'm going to make you forget about it. But it's all about money, and money has the ultimate value in the capitalist world. So now we're on this yacht in Act 2, and the captain of this yacht is played by Woody Harrelson. He's just so funny in this movie. He's great. And he plays a drunken captain, confined to quarters, self-confined to quarters. He's also a Marxist. So, and he's fond of spouting Marxist quotations. And also on board, one of the guests is a Russian oligarch. He sells shit, fertilizer. He's played by Zlatko Burek, and he is also. I mean, all these characters are so vividly and compellingly drawn. And as the drunken captain spouts Marx, he spouts Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher. So again, the tables are sort of turned here. And I have to also talk about another terrific performance in this film. And this is given by an actress called Dolly DeLeon. And she was nominated and won several supporting actor awards from different critical societies and film festivals. She's in charge of servicing the toilets on board. But there's a lot more to her character than this. This is Abigail. And in the third act, as the hierarchy, the structures of society collapse, she plays a very prominent role. So, again, this is a film that I found very funny, and I wish, and it's going to be a favorite film of mine. I'm going to want to watch it again, I'm sure. The supplements are weak. You know, I don't know why Criterion can't do a little bit more on the supplements, and you know, we get the pesky fold out that I can't stand. At least it does have some good pictures of the cast members. So in the supplements, we get a conversation with Ostlund that lasts maybe 15, 20 minutes. And it's pretty good. I mean, he's very articulate about what he was trying to do with this film. But he believes he's not criticizing capitalism per se. This is not about his criticism of the capitalist, late capitalism that we live in. It's rather a comedy about how we as human beings adopt to this world that we have created, the social structures. Why are we living like this? When you come out of this, why is this the way we order society? And it's sometimes I even get the feeling, well, maybe this is who we are. It's not so much the structures that are bad, which they are bad, but that maybe there's something at fault with ourselves, and that we would create such inequality and hierarchy, power hierarchies. Now, and he also says something interesting too, because he talks about the tradition of the what he sees as a genre, the European art house cinema, which his first three films, feature films, which are streaming on the Criterion channel currently, they're very much in the line of the European art house. So, starting with Force Majeure, which I have not seen, and continuing on with The Square and with Triangle of Sadness, which he sees as a kind of trilogy. This is his breaking away from that and trying to reach a wider audience. So in Europe, obviously winning the Cannes Film Festival, Palme D'Or, and it got great reviews. And when it came to this country, it was thought, well, maybe it's going to be another Parasite, because it is an audience movie. But it's even more discomforting, I guess, to American audiences than to European audiences. So it got some really bad reviews. A.O. Scott, I read A.O. Scott's review in the New York Times. He absolutely eviscerates it. I came across Armand White, who writes for the right-wing magazine National Review, very predictably, seeing the film as a criticism of capitalism, which to the right wing is a kind of religion in itself. And they both call Ostlund a fraud. And I don't see that at all. In fact, I see this film as kind of a sad film. This is The Triangle of Sadness, and it has a great deal of poignancy, I think, to it, because these are people. These especially in the sense of the performances, the vividness of performance. They seem like real people that are caught up in their own emotional makeups, in their own desire for wealth and power. It's certainly a criticism of it, but I see it as being very much a poignant film. Now, I have to mention that I told you I was going to go back to Charlie Dean, and in case people listening to this aren't aware of it, but Charlie Dean passed away last year, August of last year. Blood infection came on suddenly. So this is real. I mean, she is so good and it's so beautiful and so talented. And there's a sadness. When I saw the film in the movie theater, I didn't know about that. But when I watched it the second time, you just can't take your eyes off her. If nothing else, Triangle of Sadness is a tribute to Charlie Dean's great talent. Okay, so next up, I think I'm going to talk about The Servant, Joseph Losey's The Servant, which also Criterion released a couple weeks ago. And then next Tuesday, I'm picking up One False Move, and I hope to get a review up on that before the sale is over. I'm also picking up the Renowned Westerns by Bud Bedecker with Randolph Scott, UK edition, or UHD edition. But I won't be able to get to that. The time will run out. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen. I do appreciate it. Comments are welcome. Take care.